Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Megan Glova. We covered a disturbing story this week where a man was captured being aggressive and making racist comments in Raleigh. That video is also making traction online. Joining us now to discuss the video, the man in it, and what's being done is WRAL Investigates reporter Sarah Krueger. Sarah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So for those who have not seen the video, can you describe to us what happened? And of course, some certain language was used in this video, which we're not going to say or show, but if we can maybe allude to what was said.
Of course, yeah. So it was a 4-minute long cell phone video that was posted online. It's gotten quite a bit of attention in recent weeks. And the video it shows a man hurling racist insults and even swinging a really large shovel at utility workers who are working in a Raleigh neighborhood. And it's a very troubling video, a very disturbing incident, obviously. It appears that the video was taken by one of the utility workers themselves, and the video has a caption on it that is written in Spanish, and it translates basically to say, the way we're treated while we earn an honest living. And in the video, you can see one of the utility workers' managers kind of step in and try to defuse the situation. And we know that Raleigh police were informed about the incident. We have learned that they have decided not to press charges so far in this incident.
And do we know why Raleigh police decided not to charge him? Did they have an exact reasoning?
So they told us that they spoke with the parties involved and they determined that no crime occurred. And I wanted a second opinion on that. So I showed the video to an attorney in Durham who's named Daniel Meyer. He does not have any connection to this case, but I just wanted his legal perspective. And what he told me is that he agrees with Raleigh Police's conclusion. He said that the First Amendment allows you to say your piece. He said you can say what you want. You can be offensive. You can be racist. He said there are limits. You can't yell fire in a movie theater was one example he gave. But he said you can be racist, you can be obnoxious, and he said, depending on how you look at it, that's free speech. So that could be both unfortunate and fortunate.
And do we know anything about him? Does he live in the neighborhood? Do we know anything about what exactly maybe sparked this confrontation before record was hit?
So no, not really. We do not know what kind of work was being performed. It appears to be some kind of a utility work. We did reach out to the city to ask them if it had been any city crews, but we don't have clarity on who the crew was, what they were doing, so we were not able to reach out to them and try to get their perspective. We do have an understanding of who the man is. We are not naming him because he is not facing charges, but we did try to contact him. We tried to call him. We also sent him a letter in the old-fashioned mail, hoping to hear back from him, but at this point we have not.
This was a pretty targeted attack from that man to those workers. How is the Hispanic community responding to that? Did you speak to anyone in that community?
Yeah, so I reached out to Pilar Rocha Goldberg. She's the CEO and president of El Centro Hispano, which is a nonprofit that has offices in Durham, Raleigh, and in Carborough. And she watched the video and was horrified. And unfortunately, she told me she was not surprised. She said, we've seen some of these things in the past, but still it is always terrifying. And she talked about how the political climate has really increased the fear of the Hispanic community at this time. And in fact, they're planning meetings about it among their staff. They're planning workshops. They're going to have Know Your Rights workshops for the people that they serve because it is just such a scary time for so many of them.
And does she or police give any guidance on what to do in these situations? If maybe you're one of those workers who are, put in an unfortunate situation like that, especially when, in some cases, charges, as we just saw, won't be filed.
So I asked her about that. I said, do you encourage people in that situation to call police? And she said, they don't want to make someone do something they're not comfortable with, but she did want people to know that if they are not comfortable calling police, they can call her group. They can call El Centro Hispano, and they will have support there, and they can help them navigate the system and decide if they do want to contact law enforcement. But either way, they will offer emotional support, which is so needed in that time.
Did she mention anything about how common this is?
So unfortunately, yeah, hate speech is not rare. She talked about an incident actually about one of her own staff members just the day after the election had someone come up to her and her group while they were all speaking Spanish outside and chastise them for speaking Spanish. So it unfortunately is something that happens way too often. And I also spoke with the president of the utility workers union at a national level and was just asking him, how common are attacks on utility workers. He's the national president for the Utility Workers Union of America. And he said that it's something they deal with often. And they encourage their local unions to address it immediately with elected representatives. And one thing he told me was that in several states, the union has been successful in lobbying lawmakers to make it a felony to assault utility workers. He said that is not the case in North Carolina. And as far as I know, that is not something that is under discussion right now either. And he talked about how around certain events that tend to get people more emotionally charged, there tends to be an uptick in assaults on utility workers. So he mentioned the political atmosphere could be a factor, or if people are experiencing rate increases or people out of power for a significant amount of time, that's when they often do see assaults happen.
And jumping back to the video itself, how did you come across this story?
So this video was well circulated online and got really a lot of attention. And we spent time reaching out to Raleigh police, ensuring that we had heard from them about their plans, if any, for the man involved, and then also getting the perspective of those close to the situation in terms of El Centro Hispano and this utility workers union.
And do we know exactly who the people in the video are, and are they being helped? Are they getting the support they need, maybe?
Yeah, in terms of the utility workers, no, we do not know who they are, unfortunately. And in those kinds of situations, speaking with Pilar with El Centro Hispano, she says, if people are not comfortable going to Raleigh police, which it seems like in this case, at least someone in that group did go to Raleigh police because they were aware of this situation. Police said they did talk to the parties involved. But not everyone necessarily in that situation would be comfortable going to police. So she just wants people to know, if you find yourself in a disturbing situation like that where you have been verbally assaulted, that you have a safe space at El Centro Hispano. They have offices all around the triangle and are there to support you.
All right. Great resource. Sarah, thanks so much. And thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download. You can find more podcasts from WRAL News on WRAL.com. Search podcast. From sports to true crime, there are plenty of shows to keep you informed and entertained. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.